Yeah?
Yeah, man.
My name's Luke Tarrant, adventurer and recent amputee. My dad always used to refer to me as a boy of 1,000 questions. I think that sort of feeling carried me into my adult years, where I'd see stuff about the world and I'd want to go and like find out about it myself. I'm just interested in other people and the way they live and what they're doing, and like what I actually really enjoy and what I tried to make sure I was doing on my bike trips was get off the beaten path and get to places that aren't being travelled to, because you arrive there and people are like, why are you here? Like, come meet my daughter, come meet my son, like just visit my home, because they're just so interested in you. And I find that to be a much better experience than just going and doing like a touristy 2-weeker. You watch Wolf of Wall Street once when you're about 13 and you think, oh wow, like, I'm gonna go work on a trading floor, that'd be wicked. And I got there and I was like, earning good money, everything's going well. Like, I thought, you guys are, you're quite successful, you're smart people, but I didn't want to be them in 40 years' time. And also, I had this feeling that time was running out. Every single second that I was sat somewhere I didn't want to be, I was like, oh, I'm wasting my life. And it got to the point where I was like, right, I've got enough money to go and do my motorbike trips for as long as I want. I'm just gonna quit with no plan and ride until I either run out of money or crash. And obviously, I've still got a bit of money left, so it's fine. It was all in my mind, ready for this big, like, holy grail of motorcycle adventuring, US to Ushuaia. And that was something I was desperate to complete, and I didn't have a plan or a time limit. I was just gonna go for as long as it took and get to Ushuaia and then see what happened, basically. And then was coming down from North Colombia towards Ecuador and crashed, but it sounds quite abrupt, but I don't know what happened. I woke up in a ditch. I have a really faint memory of someone being there with me in a ditch. If he was sat next to me now, I would be like, I don't know who that bloke is. I've got no memory who it was. Have these weird thoughts of, the ceiling's made of wood. Someone's trying to chop my trousers off. And then nothing. A young nurse in Spanish was like, oh, we need to chop your leg off. And my first reaction was, well, you ain't doing that. Because at the time I just thought if I was in England, like, they'd bolt it back together and I'd be fine. I was like, you're not chopping my leg off. That's when I got my phone out. A random Colombian guy who we both followed each other on Instagram. He paid for a private ambulance that was 4 hours away to come pick me up. Obviously paid him back and more in the end. I didn't think he was going to turn up at like early hours of the morning. Ambulance turns up. We drive 10 hours through the Andes Mountains to Medellin. Doors of the ambulance swing open. My best mate's there, who was in Colombia as well. And then up into like the main hospital, at which point they're like, no, your leg does need to get chopped. But I'm still being a stubborn fuck. But the issue was the sepsis took hold and the blood infection was running through my veins, because that is what nearly killed me. So until I got home, the month or so in Colombia was just like, stay alive. Don't let anything else bad happen. Like, I had 8 surgeries, so they kept chopping more of my leg off because of the sepsis, and I really wanted to keep my knee. Then I got home, was in the trauma unit, same vibe, like just get rid of the infection. Then it was, the new hospital was like, get a prosthetic for the first time and like stand up for the first time, do a bit of physio, wheel about in a wheelchair. And there was always like challenges and goals and things to like focus on. And I wasn't sad, I wasn't depressed, wasn't thinking, oh, why me? Like, I just got on with it. And then after about 3 months, they said, oh, do you want to go home to your flat for the first time for the weekend? And I was absolutely buzzing. I was like, yeah, have a good night's sleep. Get back to the flat. I was like, wait, this is weird. I was in my wheelchair, so I'm like, normally I'm 6'2"-ish, and I'm looking around, and I'm all of a sudden looking at everyone's like crotch area, and I thought, actually, I want to cook an egg, and the stove was up there. And I had this like moment of realization that everything actually had changed, and it just hit me like a train. I was just so miserable. I don't think I've ever been depressed in my life, but for 2 days, I was like in such a horrible mood, because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd want to get in the bathroom, and I'd try and wheel in the bathroom in my wheelchair, and you get like stuck in the door. And I just realized that life was very different all of a sudden. And it was quite hard to like wrap my head around, but I got back to hospital and I very quickly got back into the swing of things, and like, getting back on the prosthetic, and I had another goal. And then when I went home again, I had another dip, but this time it was smaller than the last one. And I remember thinking, you got through that last low mood, this is how you get through the next one. And it kind of just, since then it's sort of worked like that, where life is more difficult, but it actually is almost a bit more adventurous in itself. Last week I was at the beach in Mexico, and the beach is down there, loads of sand, there's a few chairs like maybe 50 to 100 meters away. And I was like, how am I gonna get in the sea? Because I couldn't go in the sea with this prosthetic. So I thought, right, I'll take my leg off. How am I gonna get from these chairs to the beach and then back? And I ended up getting a plastic chair and spending about 15 minutes like hopping down the beach with one leg and the chair to get in the sea. Got in the sea, the waves are pretty big, so I'm like getting crashed trying to get out with one leg, like crawling up, get the chair and hop back up the beach. And I got back to the thing after like 45 minutes of battling with the sea and the beach, just to dip for 5 minutes. And I was like, that was fun. Like that was actually a pretty good adventure in itself. Previously, I'd have just jumped in the sea, gone back, had a beer, everything's fine. But I actually have this like daily sort of problem solving exercise to do normal things, which I actually kind of enjoy. When I first crashed, I thought, I can't wait to get back on the bike. I need to get back on the bike right now. As my recovery dragged on and there was months of issues and I couldn't use a prosthetic and I was in the wheelchair and I was like, like bikes have actually taken quite a lot from me. Maybe it would be stupid to get back on one. As time went on, I just started to really miss it again, and I actually like pine after it a bit. It sounds a bit romantic, but I really just miss the feeling of being on my bike. And there's not many things in life I've found that I actually meditate into. And when I'm on my bike, I'm not thinking, what am I having for dinner? What about that argument I had with my mate? I'm kind of in a bit of a flow state, traveling through the atmosphere at whatever speed. You're not thinking about anything. Maybe that's why I crashed. Wasn't thinking, not thinking about anything other than just like each corner. That for me is like quite meditative, and I do miss that feeling a lot, and I've not really found it through anything else. We all have an inherent resilience, which probably I didn't even realise myself. And when you're just in a situation, what other choice have you got? You just get on with it. I know it sounds easier said than done, but right now, like if I spent a day wallowing in self-pity that I can't go out for a jog, or my leg hurts, or getting in the sea is difficult, what's that actually going to change? Nothing. Like, it's not going to grow my leg back, it's not going to make it any easier. What is the other alternative? Like, just sit around and feel sorry for myself, or I can live the best that I can with the days that I've got left and the situation that I'm in and just enjoy it. I think that was kind of my view before the crash. I just wanted to squeeze the most out of my days and have an interest in life, and that's why I left my job, and that's why I was doing the motorbike trips in the first place. And the crash has only intensified that feeling of, I've got a set number of days. Like, at some point, it is all going to be over. And at some point, I'm going to be old, and it's not going to be possible to do all the things I want to do now. I think I've got this belief within me that things will just work out in the end. Like, even when I did the bike trip, I mean, I quit what was considered to be a good job to just go and motorbike around, and everyone was like, what are you doing, mate? Like, you've gone and spent ages studying for your degree. Like, it's really hard to get that job. Why would you go and give it up to just go and motorbike around for a few years? And I was like, because it will just work out fine. Now, obviously, some would say it didn't, but in my mind, life's actually worked out fine. Like, but there's many things which I'm doing today that would never have happened if I hadn't lost my leg. I'm not saying that I'm glad it happened, because obviously, like, why would you say that? But I wouldn't go back and change anything. I'm content with the way life's going. I don't really know in 5 years' time what I'll be doing, but I didn't expect to be sat here doing interviews after smashing my leg off on my bike trip. So it's all worked out all right for now, and I've kind of just got this belief that it will continue to work out fine. And maybe it won't. Maybe I'll smash off another limb. But who knows?